Hey guys, we're back.
Hello, I'm Bayside.
And I'm Boston.
And we'll bring you indie music every Tuesday at 5. What were the last songs we heard, Boston?
So the last 3 songs we heard were Rhythm and Blues by The Head and the Heart, Turnin' by Young Rising Suns, and Begin, which was Shalou featuring Wales. You actually heard some Shalou last week, too.
Did we?
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who knew? You did. I didn't, apparently. But speaking of things that came out last week,
that transition.
Thank you. The gasp after really solidified it. Taylor Swift released her album Reputation last Friday, the 10th. If last Friday was the 10th, I believe it was.
Indeed.
Which is 15 new songs for all of the world to hear / Taylor Swift fans to talk about
and obsess over
and decide where they stand, how they feel, etc. So there was a lot of mixed reviews before this album even came out, because she made it very clear off the bat this was a pop album, and not only it was a pop album, but it was going to be different, and she was going to be different, which after listening to it I would say is all true.
She succeeded.
Yep, she warned us, or maybe not warned us, but she let us know what she was doing, and she delivered
stuck with it.
Exactly what she said she would. And, you know, I think the album very much reflects the fact that a lot has happened to her in the past 3 years, and she is changed because of that, and those things that happen are, are going to make her much more aware and not as I don't want to use the word naive, but she's not going to be like the same person as we knew her to be. I would say after listening to the album, I would like to call it a statement album, which I don't know if it's probably been said by like at least one other person, because I'm not very original, but like I haven't read it anywhere, but like I hope and think it's a statement album of what can happen to a person when the media gets too involved. I think she is aware of the messages she's putting out there in this album, and it's not just another pop album. A lot of people think she's selling out, which I can see where they would get that, but I think she's so skilled in what she's doing now that this album kind of like it's making the statement of like this is kind of what you asked for. What did you expect after what I've been through? But what were your thoughts before we get into specific songs?
I had mixed reviews. Again, I had mixed feelings about the singles that came out, first of all, because I don't think they're the best ones on the album, but that tends to happen with artists, because they get overplayed very, very soon and very quickly. People tend to think they're not the greatest tracks on the record.
Yeah.
However, when artists release new singles, it's not necessarily because they think it's the best song on the record, it's because they think it represents the album as a whole. So, personally, I wasn't a huge fan of, like, Are You Ready For It, or, which has grown on me. I will say it has grown on me. But listening to the whole album in its entirety, I do like it. I like it a lot more than I expected to, especially because I'm, like, a country Taylor fan. Like, that was like her key moments for me. I loved Red. 1989 was great, but like Fearless, Speak Now, the Taylor Swift self-titled album are always going to be my favorites. So hearing another pop album, I was kind of like, oh, I guess she's not going back to country, and I was a little bitter, but I do really like it. I think the musicality is great, and I think she has really good lyrics in it too.
I agree, and I definitely agree that it's the album I was also most skeptical of going into, as well as listening to it. I won't say it's my favorite, but there are some songs on here that I think are very good, and I think if a person was to only, like, you really have to listen to the whole album to appreciate which songs are good.
No, I agree.
But the ones that are good are, like, I personally cannot stop listening to Don't Blame Me, which I know I've told Boston. And I realized the other day there's something very Halsey about it. I'm not saying it's...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I forget which song it is, but there's one song on the track that sounds very, very similar to Melanie Martinez's last album, which I don't think is a coincidence. I think she's pulling inspiration from other artists, which isn't a bad thing.
No, definitely. Running off other songs that I've enjoyed, Gorgeous and This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. They're not songs that I would say are moving the world or trend-setting or any of those. I wouldn't coin those as those types of songs, but I would say that they there's something very humorous about them, and I think it's intentionally humorous. It's very Gorgeous is very fangirly, you know. It gives that embodiment of this person who just like doesn't even know what to do with themselves because of how attractive they find someone else. And then This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. I mean, that's such like a meme phrase nowadays, you know. It's a joke of a phrase. So I think her making that the name of the song very much implies that like you know, like, look what you've done, you know, this is why we can't have nice things. And I think the entire song should be taken kind of in like a parody setting. But songs that I actually like think are very like credible in enjoying are Getaway Car, Dress, and I really like Call It What You Want and New Year's Day, or I think my little list. And we'll see, maybe it'll grow for a few more, but right now those are the ones that weren't singles, or Call It What You Want was a single, but besides that, the ones that weren't singles that I enjoyed.
I mean, I agree with that list. I personally, my favorites on the track are I Did Something Bad, which I know Bayside wasn't a huge fan of the first time she heard it. Don't Blame Me, and This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, and Call It What You Want. I do like New Year's Day. I'm not a huge fan of just piano in the background on songs, so that could be why I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do think it's beautiful. Did you see her perform it on Jimmy Fallon the other night?
I actually did not, but I heard that happened.
Yeah, she was invited to perform on the Fallon show last minute after Jimmy Fallon's mother passed away earlier last week.
Right.
And it was kind of beautiful because there's a lyric in the song that said, I squeeze your hand 3 times in the taxi. And Fallon had just said earlier in the show that when he was younger, his mom would squeeze his hand 3 times to symbolize her saying, I love you. And he ended up doing that while she was in the hospital. So the fact that Taylor chose to sing that song, I don't think was a coincidence, and I think it was a really good memorial for the family at Tonight with Jimmy Fallon. So,
well, dang, that is, I love that kind of stuff. And you see that's what I mean. Like New Year's Day is such like a wink at her past albums, and I don't think it's a coincidence that, as you said, she sang it on Jimmy Fallon, and I also don't think it's a coincidence that it closes the album. I think it kind of ties it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one, there's something so just simple about it, whereas the rest of the album, it can be very chaotic. Also, and I think like Dress being like towards the end of the album also kind of like, there's a nice little wind down, because the first song being yep, Ready For It. You're not ready. When that was a single, I was not ready.
No.
And then the songs that, like, you know, follow that, you kind of feel like you're on a roller coaster. Or even, like, the slow parts, you're just filled with, like, energy, and you want everything explained to you, but then it kind of starts tying up at the end with Dress and Call It What You Want, and, like, This Was Why We Can't Have Nice Things is, like, thrown in there, because it's, like, fun and silly. Yeah, so I was very appreciative of the ordering of her songs this album around.
Yeah, I think it was great, and I mean, the magazine she has at Target is supposed to have a bunch of those hidden lyrics that she's done on her past albums by like capitalizing letters and having a hidden message in there. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, no, we definitely have to look into that. But I do definitely recommend that people check it out, despite the some of the negative press it's been getting before and after its release. Just, you know, listen to it so you can actually have a say for yourself instead of what everyone else is saying for you. And there's definitely some gems in there. And my final question for you is, if you could have a next music video of hers for any of the songs, regardless of whether it's a single, what would you say?
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'd want to see a Call It What You Want video, but I think a more interesting video would be I Did Something Bad.
Okay.
Just because everyone's speculating on who it is about, and she's said that she doesn't release names, and that people should stop speculating as to what guy the song is about, because there's a lot more to her personal life that's shown in the press. So I think it would be interesting to see what her take on the song is. Okay. And I'd kind of like to see the artistry that surrounds that one.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I'm still wanting the Gorgeous. I know it's she's done the comedic music videos so well, like the We're Never Ever Getting Back Together type, that I think something similar for Gorgeous would be very good and would make me love the song even more. But in a serious light, I'd probably have to say Call It What You Want as well.
All right. So we'll be rolling into some more music from Bayside's awesome playlist.
Hello.
And after that, we will be back with another segment.